Hey, what's up, you guys? Thank you for tuning in. This is Gabriel, Visiontoon, Lamette, and you've tuned in for this F4 series where we focus on faith, family, fitness, and food. So, today we're going to be talking about what I would consider to be a mixture of food and fitness with a little side order of my health status. I am literally at war with my blood pressure. I've shared with you guys since the beginning of this channel how excited and how happy I have been to be able to do away with the gout issues, the blood pressure issues, the diabetes, for having the type 2 diabetes. I've been able to put all those things to bed and at rest. And I had a very interesting scenario take place almost towards the end of me doing my UFC Fit Challenge, where I was doing my workout program. I ended up having something going on with one of my teeth, and in some of the videos you might notice like one of my jaws looked bigger and it looked like I was talking with a bowl of marbles. That was because I had a problem going on with a tooth. And so I went to the dental office, and they told me that the dentist that I went and saw at the beginning of the year, when he popped out an old filling and put a new one in, it actually ended up touching the nerve, and I ended up getting an infection, and it was just sore, and I was taking all this medicine again. And so they said, so we're gonna need to take the tooth out because it's really damaged from what took place. And so I was like, oh man, okay, well, you know, whatever we got to do, I just need the relief from it. They went to take my blood pressure, and my blood pressure was 191 over 101. And I'm someone that is accustomed to, on a bad day, having it 120 over 80 because I had gotten it so under control. And this was so alarming to them that they told me that they were not even able to do it. And I was devastated because, first of all, I was in pain. I had been taking antibiotics for almost 14 days, and they said I couldn't really take much more of that because that could cause other damage. And I just started looking at the factors of, man, you know, I'm doing everything that I'm supposed to do. Now I have to call my doctor because they wanted to get a release to treat form from my general doctor. And I was thinking to myself, man, I haven't been able to see my doctor since the quarantine, and they keep pushing it back and back and back. I think I was supposed to have had mine in April, I think it was. Then they moved it back to May. Then they said, okay, July. Like, it was just crazy insane how I was getting pushed back, but I understood why. And so I got in contact with my doctor, and they said, your blood pressure was what? And they said, okay, I want you to come in a couple of days. We're going to put you back on the medicine. So then I was in my headspace at that point because I was like, dude, I've worked so hard to be medicine free. And now I feel like something's going on that has it totally out of my control. So I started looking up stuff, and then I went on to Google, and that is the worst thing you can do when you're worried about something, because then I'm looking at all these reasons for why, which got me even more concerned. And again, I'm somebody who checks my blood pressure every single day, and when I check it in the morning, they're always good numbers. So I was just like, okay, how'd this come on all of a sudden? You know, it was just so unanswerable at that point. And so I went and met with my doctor, and my doctor told me, she said, well, this is really odd. She said, to be honest, you've done everything that you're technically supposed to do to not have to worry about your blood pressure. Since you started working with your nutritionist, you've lost over 40 pounds. You're small. You don't even have that much body fat as you used to. You eat properly. You have a log. I'm looking at everything that you put in, and you're able to track everything. There's something going on. Look, we're going to try these things out. And then she asked me, she said, what is your rest like? And I said, well, I get up at 5 every morning so I can work out and I have time to myself before I go into work. And then she said, okay, so how much rest are you getting? And I said, well, I get about, 7 to 5 hours. And she said, is it more 5 or is it more 7? And I said, it depends. I said, I get into bed at 10 o'clock every night, but you can't always fall asleep. I said, my son generally sleeps with us, so he doesn't go to sleep immediately. Most of the time it's me going, Grayson, go to sleep. Grayson, go to bed. Grayson, get over here. Grayson, all those different things. And she said, you have got to get rest. She said, in addition, you told me that you have practically been working every day in some shape, form, or fashion since mid-March. She said, Gabriel, you have to get yourself real rest. Do you know rest actually can determine your blood pressure just as much as eating all the bad stuff? She said, if you don't take the time to truly rest, and not just resting by going to sleep, but resting your mind, doing things that take you off of those things that become your normal routines that keeps you going every day. She said, I don't know what you need to do. If you need to watch more movies or go and do something, go take a hike or something. She said, but you have to take the time to rest from your work life, because that might be playing a huge part into this. And so I started thinking about it, and I spoke with my executive director, and he was in full support of that. I really love the guy for his support for me as an individual. And then I talked to my nutritionist to let her know what was going on, and she was in shock too. And then I told her, I said, one thing that I was looking into was I was reading that certain workouts are actually not beneficial to those who struggle with high blood pressure. And she said, that is absolutely correct. She said, in addition to not getting the proper amount of rest, your body may be getting pushed beyond its limit with what you're doing. She said, when did this happen? And we started looking back and backtracking all these things. This all started when I started going full on intense with my UFC Fit program, where I wasn't modifying. I was trying to keep up with them because it was the last 3 weeks, and I was like, go hard or go home. And she told me, she said, you know what? This is your last week of doing UFC Fit. Just go ahead and modify it. Modify it all, and let's see what your difference and changes are. Immediately when I did that, all my numbers started dropping. One of the other things that I did to alleviate some of the stress was I got enough rest at night. I took some time off of work. In addition to that, I took time to start playing some video games, something that's going to take my mind off of all of the normal things that I generally do. And it just became so beneficial to be able to do those types of things that helped me to improve my blood pressure situation. Now, I'm going to be transparent with you guys. Right now, my doctor still has me on the medicine because she just wants to make sure that I'm good to go. And for me, I did have to deal with the psychological barrier, and I really want to thank my wife for being a supportive voice to say, hey, just go through the process. Maybe you do need the medicine, maybe you don't, but go through the process. It's more important for you to be here and be alive and be healthy than for you to be pushing and doing things that you shouldn't be doing that could ultimately kill you. That's just as bad as eating bad foods. And then I also want to thank one of my other buddies that I work with. I caught him one of those days and was talking to him, and he encouraged me to listen to my body and not push my body beyond the limits of what it's telling me, because technically I've arrived to a healthy place anyway. I'm in perfect body fat percentage for my age, my height, my all of that. So he said, just listen to the body and maintain what you're doing. And so that's where I'm thankful for a good support system. But I'm going to continue this journey and keep you guys abreast on what's going on, because if I'm going to talk about all my victories, I have to talk about my struggles at the same time. And being at war with my blood pressure to keep it down and get myself off of this medicine is my new fight and my new battle. And I only expect to beat this thing down like I've done with everything else. So thank you for joining me, and I'll keep you guys tuned and right in place with what's happening. Bye-bye.